Hospitals at night are a different world. During the day, they're places of science and healing. But at 3 a.m., when the visitors are gone and the lights are dimmed to that low amber hum, they become warehouses for the dying. My name is Alex, and I work as an EMT. Part of my job involves running logistics between the ambulance bay and the internal wards. I've seen everything. Car crashes, cardiac arrests, the works. I don't scare easily. You can't do this job if you do. But there is one specific run I hate: the basement storage unit. The hospital is an old building, built in the 70s, and the basement is a labyrinth of concrete corridors, flickering fluorescent tubes, and rooms filled with broken equipment. It's where old gurneys go to die. It was a Tuesday. We had just brought in a code gray, a violent patient who had thrashed around so hard he'd bent the side rail of our stretcher. I needed a replacement immediately. The PICU, Pediatric Intensive Care Unit, is on the 3rd floor, directly above the section of the basement I needed to go to. The PICU was locked down for the night. The whole building was silent.
I took the service elevator down. The doors opened with a grind, revealing the long, empty concrete hallway. The air down there is always 10 degrees colder than the rest of the hospital. It smells like dust and ozone. I walked to the equipment cage. It's a chain-link enclosure packed with IV poles, wheelchairs, and stretchers. I unlocked the padlock and stepped inside. It was tight. I had to squeeze between stacks of boxes to get to the good gurneys at the back. As I was dragging a stretcher out, I felt a tug on my uniform shirt. It was subtle, just a little pull on the back hem, like it had caught on a wire. I stopped. I looked around. There was nothing behind me but a stack of bedpans. Weird, I asserted. I kept pulling the gurney. The wheels squeaked, eking, echoing loudly in the small space. Then I felt it again. This time, it wasn't a snag. It was a deliberate tug, hard, like a child trying to get your attention. I froze. The hair on the back of my neck shot up. I was alone. I knew I was alone. The only way into the basement requires a key card, and I hadn't heard the elevator.
I let go of the gurney. The silence rushed back in, heavy and suffocating. Is someone there? I asked. My voice sounded small, silence. Just the hum of the pipes overhead. I turned around slowly, scanning the shadows with my penlight. Nothing. Just dust motes dancing in the beam. I convinced myself it was static electricity or my imagination. I grabbed the gurney again, and then I heard it, right next to my ear. It wasn't a whisper. It wasn't the wind. It was crystal clear. A little girl's voice. "I'm lost." It was so loud I actually jumped. I spun around, swinging the flashlight wildly. "Who said that? Where are you?" There was no one, but the air right in front of me was freezing. Not just basement cold, meat locker cold. I looked down. At waist height, near the floor, a single empty wheelchair began to roll. It moved 3 feet forward, then stopped. The voice came again, sounding like it was coming from the empty chair. "I can't find my room." I didn't ask any more questions. I didn't try to be a hero. I grabbed the radio on my shoulder mic. "Dispatch, I need a partner in the basement now." I backed out of the cage, leaving the gurney. I didn't turn my back on that wheelchair until the elevator doors closed. When I got back upstairs, I was shaken. I asked the charge nurse on the PICU floor if they had lost a patient. She looked at me weird and said, "No, all beds are full. Why?" I didn't tell her. But later I talked to one of the old orderlies, a guy who's been there for 30 years. I told him about the voice. He didn't laugh. He just nodded and said, "Yeah, that's the storage girl. We think she came down the laundry chute in the 80s trying to hide during hide and seek, and, well, She never made it back up. I don't go to the basement alone anymore. If a gurney breaks, we just use the backup in the ambulance. I don't care if it's against protocol. I'm not helping her find a room because I have a feeling that if she takes you there, you don't come back.